Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us webinar today. Okay, I hope you will get some information from here. Topic is this around is Minitab for quality initiative in non-manufacturing industry. Okay, maybe based on this topic, not related, looks like rigid for those are coming from manufacturing industry, but this webinar will more focus how to use tools are available in Minitab Statistical Software, and then the case study will be used for non-manufacturing industry. Maybe if you are coming from the manufacturing side, is maybe different data type, and then this webinar will be help you in order to enhance your ability using the Minitab Statistical Software. Okay, I'm now Sulawati. I'm the technical support specialist at Visit System. Visit System are independent local representation from Singapore, Malaysia, and Batam, Indonesia. Okay. Okay, before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items to take notes. Okay, if you have questions during presentation, please type them into the question box in your control panel. You may send any time throughout the presentation, but I will address them during Q&A session at the end of our webinar. Kindly ensure that you have connected to audio speaker. And then please fill out our survey before you exit the tab. This survey will help us to improve the quality of upcoming webinar. For your information, this webinar will be recorded and therefore it will be set listen-only mode to avoid interpretation to the audio recording. The recording will be accessible anytime later on our website, www.busy.com, or by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Minitab Malaysia and Singapore. Minitab was developed in 1970, so today Minitab in market for 50 years. Okay, a lot of company are coming from various industry have been used Minitab statistical software in daily job or for project improvement like Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma or data analytic project. Minitab statistical software is software package for statistical analysis tools, and then this software is a variety of statistical tools available in Minitab statistical software. Okay, it will be powerful statistical software since everyone can use, whether you are statistician or non-statistician or data sciences. For example, you are coming for today's session, we focus on the quality initiative. Okay, so almost all these tools we will demo on this webinar today. For example, is MSA, control chart, capability, where MSA you need to reliable your data set. Is it have something variation or not? This one is MSA or case study. And then you go for the process control. Is it your process in control or off control before you go to or see it on the capability of your process is capable or not capable. After that, you can go for the acceptance sampling itself and then go for the tolerance interval. So beside the quality side, not the only quality inside the Minitab statistical software, we have others tools like reliability engineering. Okay, so for information, the latest updating Minitab 20, Minitab add new tools in the reliability engineering. We call it a cog regression. If let's say you want to know more on this part, please contact us for this kind of the tools. Okay, and then of course this one is for the product development or R&D department. I think it's a make it popular for the design of experiment itself. Okay, for information in Minitab, we not only analyze that DOE, but we start from the scratch one. You want to create the study or you want to create the, we call it the design itself. Okay, for example, you have a 2 or 3 two level for each 30 factor. So you won't need to design before you go for the experimental side. So we have kind from the scratch, create the design analysis, and then after that you can go for the optimization. So also we have something like a data-driven decision. What we say about predictive analytics is something like one analytic project. Or we also have a tools inside the Minitab. For example, we have statistical modeling. It's from the traditional one is regression up to the predictive like classification and regression tree. Okay, if let's say you are coming or your data is a time-based, so you can go for the time series analytics, something like a remote model or something like of costing, MA, SA, and so on. Okay. And then this one is the process validation part, but it's not in one module, but it's one is from the other tools. Okay, but you can see on the Minitab Statistical Software. Okay. So most our customer is coming from manufacturing side, but the tools inside the Minitab Statistical Software is not limited to the manufacturing part only. We also have something for services, something for non-manufacturing, like if let's say you have care or you have something like a customer, financial and so on. Okay. And then our agenda today is graphical analysis. Okay, we focus on the graphical analysis or visualization, and then we go for the chi-square test. Okay, and then after that we go for the control chart, and then we go for the binomial capability analysis. Okay, so for each tool we will demo based on the non-manufacturing case study. So hopefully we'll get some input from this webinar in order to enhance your ability to use Minitab Statistical Software. So let's restart. Okay. So quality initiatives have been successfully deployed in various industries, include non-manufacturing, okay, something like healthcare services, logistics and transformation, telecommunication, agriculture and plantation, oil and gas, and then financial backing. But if let's say you want more on this one, you can go our website to find out more on this or this case study. Okay. This quality initiative not only suitable for the big company, but will be suitable for those wanted to improve their process or services in order to increase their income or generate their sales. Okay, but in the service industry, more challenge. Okay, because in service industry, something like you cannot you dealing with the intangible product. Is a service is something like is human. Okay, and then the direct involvement the customer when service is delivered. Okay, and then in many cases, maybe the data measurement in service industry tend to be qualitative or attribute. Okay, something not like scale. Okay, something like low, high, or something like satisfies, not satisfies, something that one. It's not the measurement like way high. So that's one is a differences between non-manufacturing and manufacturing. Okay, so here we have some example of quality improvement can be implemented in non-manufacturing industry. Okay, for example, in healthcare, so you want to access on the wrong prescription or incorrect surgical procedure, the patient satisfaction itself, the bed falls and staffing. So all the process inside the healthcare. So if let's say in the finance or banking, maybe you want to see on the process claim, how long they take, So what will the step you want to reduce them to improve the time to get the claim or sign on, and then maybe go for the loan application itself from the manual. You need to fill out the form and so on. So from the each process, you have the process, but the process maybe is not something like you can see in your with your eyes. Maybe you need to have a something measurement. And then maybe you can go for the credit card, for example, the link account. So if let's say you are government, okay, maybe time for permit, something that response time to complain, okay, online service or mesh stress pickup, and then so on. So for the telecommunication, so all this is example how to implement the quality improvement for the non-manufacturing industry. So of course, if let's say we go for the satisfaction. So if let's say you're coming from the manufacturing, also you want to assess on the satisfaction. So that's why this webinar is also benefit to you if let's say you're coming from the manufacturing side. Okay. So we go for the first objective or agenda today is a graphical analysis. Sometimes we call visualization. Okay, so whatever type of data analysis we do, whatever objective we want, as long as you want to something related with the data, whatever data you, is it numeric or categorical or attribute or qualitative or quantitative data. So normally we start with the graphical or visualization. Okay, so from the graphical analysis, you want to allow to quickly learn about the nature of the process or to better understanding the sources of variation in the process. If you look your data in the process itself, so you want to assess on the variation itself. Okay, if let's say you look data in the big picture, okay, the big picture, so maybe data graphical analysis will help you into to gain more information. So if let's say look on the big picture, something like you want to know about the sales, something income and so on. So in a big picture. So as we know, a lot of type of data set, graphical type. Okay, in Minitab we have a kind of the tree diagram. This one is a snapshot from the Minitab itself. Okay, so where we get, so we show. Okay. Okay, so how to get the tree, that graph? You can go for the assistant. Okay, you go for the assistant, you choose graphical analysis. Okay, you choose assistant, go to graphical analysis. Okay, so in this tree diagram, it help you to decide which one is the best graph for you based on your objective. For example, your objective is to look on this distribution of data. So maybe you can go for the histogram, maybe you can go for the box plot, or your categorical data maybe can be a bar chart or pie chart or something like that one. So if let's say you're not satisfied with the help me choose, so you go for this button. So you decide your data type. Is a continuous numeric data or counts or summary? So you can go for the data type. So what mean by continuous? What mean by count or summary data? Sometimes we call continuous is a numeric data. Sometimes we call numeric continuous data is qualitative. Okay. This one is something like it's a term of the data type. So if let's say you go for this one, you want to display and then you want to know about the center or speak, maybe you can go for the box plot. Okay, so if let's say your objective to either boost the effect, may go for the Pareto chart. So if let's say your data is something categories, okay, what we want to show today, so you can go for the bar chart or pie chart. So if let's say you go for the bar chart, go for the bar chart. So this one is a guideline for you how to use the graphical analysis to gain more insight in your data set. Okay, so you can go one by one to study on this one. So for example, help me choose for this case attribute again. So maybe you can go for the B chart. Okay. Okay, so this one is you able to see in the Minitab Statistical Software. So let's retry with this case study. Okay, a healthcare consultant collect the patient satisfaction ratings and customer complaint to improve customer satisfaction for the hospital. So they starting with the assess what they deliver, something like they want to know about the rating of the hospital itself before they go further, something like after not satisfied with this rating, okay, patient is not satisfied, they come out with the other step, something like they want to know what type of complaint, what type not satisfied, okay, what service is not satisfied to the patient itself. So they come out with the others form or something that one. Okay, first we go for the Minitab again. Okay, so in this one, I have something like customer complaint. Okay, customer complaint worksheet. Okay, for this case, they take the rating. Okay, one is the lowest, 100 is highest. Okay, most satisfied. This one is the hospital type. Okay, hospital branch. Hospital, we have a hospital A and hospital B. If let's say you want to this one, so can go for go for the worksheet description. Okay, so you can type on this one or something like you can go for this one, worksheet information. So they give it you this information. So for example, for this case, it's a rating. So not appear T here, meaning to say that this is a numeric data set. If let's say T here is a say that this one is a text data set. Okay, so for this case, and then your interest to know which one is the best, okay, what kind of the problem this hospital A or hospital B is, want to compare it. So we start with maybe we start with the box plot. Okay, want to see a rating on this variation of the rating, patient rating in for each hospital. So go to graph, go to box plot. Okay, so you choose with the group, click OK. Okay, so for this case, we choose as the rating. Okay, so maybe with the group, so we want to see on the between two hospital. So you choose hospital, then you click OK. Okay, now you get the box plot. I will go to stat, go to box plot. You because your attention to see on the with group. So you choose with group, click OK, and then you choose include the rating and hospital, and then you click OK. So you get the box plot. Okay, for this case, maybe you want to using different color for each hospital. So just double click on this windows and then double click on the bar. So you see on the group here. So you choose hospital. So and then you click on here, click OK, and then click OK. Now you get the differences between bar between the hospital A and hospital B. Maybe this one is a more visualized, easy to present it. Okay, so just double click on this one, double click on the bar and you for the group, and then you click OK, then you click OK. Okay, so you get this kind of the box plot. So based on this plot, actually you see in the hospital B have a outliers here. Okay, and then the median of the average of rating is something like it's not so good compared to the hospital A. So might be this project we look on the hospital B first. Okay, because hospital B get the lowest rating. Okay, have a have the biggest variation rather than rating in the hospital A. Okay, so they go for the another step. Okay, another step based on this. Go further another step. Okay, based on this study. Okay, they collect new data collection, maybe new study. Okay, they collect the complaint of the patient itself. Okay, for hospital B. Now they focus only hospital B since this hospital have the variation. So they go to the complaint side. So maybe they have something like online or something, that one, they have a form beside every department of the hospital, something that one. So the patient itself a complaint. So this one is a type of complaint. Okay, something like food, lack of communication. This one is the frequency. How many patient say about the feeling unengaged in the care. Okay, this one is the weightage of every type of complaint here. And then this one is a maybe costing of this frequency. Okay, so might be trigger out. We want to know which one is the most important complaint. Okay, most important complaint for this case. So what we can go is the using the Pareto chart maybe. Okay, so go for the stat, go for the quality tools, you choose Pareto chart. So for this case, you choose the complaint. Okay, the frequency is maybe frequency. And then you click OK. Now you get the Pareto chart. I will do Pareto chart inside the stat menu, not the graph menu. Stat, quality tools, Pareto chart. Okay, so from the Pareto chart, you complain the frequency, and then you click OK. So you get the Pareto chart. So Pareto chart is something like to identify the most frequent defect, the most common cause maybe of the defect, and the most frequent cause of the customer complaint itself. Okay, Pareto chart can help us to focus with improvement effort on area where the largest gains can be made. So for this hospital complaint, based on the 80-20 rules, so you can see that the noisy is the most, okay, the most important complaint raised by the patient. Okay, maybe the second one is the food, the lack of sleep, and then the feeling engaged in the care. Okay, maybe you have something like cost quality. Okay, maybe you want to assess on the quality side. Okay, based on the costing. Okay, so you can go back to the dialog box. You just play around with this cost of quality, and then you click OK. So now you see on this one, based on the cost of quality. Just now, the first one I built is the based on the frequency. Okay, so based on this one, you can see the different complaint appear in this one. Okay, so this one is something like, if let's say you look on the costing side, so maybe you have a something like weight, something like one. So you can see on the noisy, the lack of sleep. But in this, the first time, based on the frequency only the second part is B, the food one. Okay, so this one is how you want to decide which one you want to focus it. Okay, based on the frequency, or you want to focus on the cost, that one. But most of the project is related with the costing, so you can go for the cost of quality for this case. So for this case, maybe you can look on the noisy part. So from here, you can create another data set, something that one, another study, or another brainstorm how to measure on this noisy part. Okay, you need to look on this process. Okay, or you need to look process on this problem, noisy. So the big picture is hospital, you have a lot of departments. So which one department? Maybe you can have another, others background, something like you have a patient from which department? they say that the noisy one. So you need to focus on the criteria, or maybe you can get the relationship between them. Okay, association between your why, your response, and with the other's background, something like the patient itself from the department, or noisy where maybe inside or outside, or registration part or something that one. So you want to assess on that one. Okay, so we go back to this one, Pareto chart. Okay, so others case study maybe is this one is a new editing starting with the Minitab 1990. Okay, is we call heat map. Okay, so we try for this problem is a paternalist wants to determine how a very spread through the population of 4 different regions. So it's, let's say you see on this heat map, you can see that it's something like bar chart. Okay, but if let's say you have a big data or something like you have a multi-level data set, so it's a good to you rather than you're using the bar chart. So we see on this one. Okay, infection. So now we focus on this data set where they start with the months. Okay, April, June, July, and so on. And then this was a region. And then this one is the age, okay, for each. And then this one is infection. Okay, maybe related with the COVID-19 or something that one. So infection here. So you can go for the graph. You can go for the heat map. Okay, so of course, you want to look on the infection. Okay, how many infection or main or something that one. So for here, maybe you can go for the infection. So what the function of infection you want? Maybe just we go for the defect one. Include here. Maybe you want to see on the region, the column. Maybe you want to see the age. Okay. Maybe this one also the months. Okay. And then you can click OK. Okay. So now you get the heat map. Okay, so you can direct get the result on this map. So based on this color coding, okay, you see on this one is a mean infection. So the red color is the highest mean. The blue color is the lowest mean. So based on this one, you can see on the nose is, and then from the April is the highest infection. Okay, for the age is a 50 and older one. Okay, so basically, if let's say you have a variables multivariate chart, okay, for every data set, okay, so you have a multi something like one, okay, something like this is a month. You have a lot of type of month. Okay, you will have a region, a lot of type of region, and then age, you have a lot of group of your age. So this one is a benefit to you using the heat map. Okay, rather than you using the something like bar chart. Okay, but we have a two-way, whether you're using the graph in the heat map or you can go for the graph builder. Graph builder is new editing also. Okay, it's something like it's so nice. Okay, if let's say you are the old one, the old user or new user, okay, they help you something like that one. Okay, you can create. Okay, you can create the graph itself for this case. Okay, you can create graph from the graph builder. Okay, you can create this one. So we have to weigh whether you can go for the graph, you can go for the infection using the graph builder. Okay. So from the here, you can see in this noise, and then the age of the group of age is a 50 and older, is a month, is April, the highest one. Okay. Okay, so after we know the main complaint, for example, we continue our study on the something like you want to know about the association, okay, but the noisy. So noisy is something like is you cannot measure by the number. Maybe you can measure by scale. Is something like 1, scale 1, scale 2, scale 3, scale 4, and so on. And then you want to assess by department, what department you want to look on that. See, so the chi-square is a test for association, help determine whether an association exists between categorical variables. So the noisy is something like scale 1, scale 2, scale 3, and so on. So the one is, we say that is a categorical. Department A, Department B, Department C, okay, is something like a categorical. So for example, you want to assess the different branch of organization, receive different type of complaint from the customer. So you have 5 branch, okay, branch A, branch B, branch C, D and E. So you want to assess on the type of complaint. Type of something, maybe the product is not so good, the product is have a reject, something that one. So you want to assess on the relationship between branch itself with the type of complaint. Okay, or something like, do the number of mistake by the employee depend on their seniority of the level. Okay. Okay, so in Minitab, for information, in Minitab, we have 30 type of the chi-square. Okay, the first, if let's say you're looking on the one variables only, okay, so you can using the chi-square goodness or fit. If you look on the, if let's say you have 2 variables, just now I say noisy with the department, so you can go for the chi-square test for assertion, okay, or you have a 3 another variables you want to include on this assertion, so you can go for the cross tabulation and chi-square. Okay, so actually for the chi-square test for association and then cross tabulation and chi-square looks the same, just only how many variables you see. Okay, for example, here I have one case study. Okay, a quality teams notice a highest frequency of mistake on the shipping address. Okay, they record mistake reported by the customer. And then the company sent out approximately 3100 invoice during this period, and they found 141 mistake. So they wanted to analyze the association between type of mistake and then the person in charge. Okay, so we go back to the data set, our data set. Okay, go back to our data set. So go for the invoice. Okay, for this case, they collect the data, something like the date, okay, the person in charge, and then the mistake they do, and then maybe the day, since they have a date, so they can exact the date to the day itself. Okay, so here they want to assess on this person versus the mistake. Okay, but for this case, I just go for the stat. Okay, you can see on the chi-square in the tables. Okay, all the 3 type of a chi-square in the stat tables. So you can see in this one, we have a chi-square for test association, cross tabulation and chi-square, and then chi-square goodness of test, only one variables. Okay, this one is something like in the person. So a person, we have A, B, C. Okay, is it have a association between each person itself? And then we want to assess by the person, by the mistake. Okay, so go back to the stat tables. For this guy, I using the cross tabulation and chi-square. Okay, so the row, okay, maybe I choose the mistake. Okay, the column to choose the person. Okay, for this case, maybe you want to display the row percentage and so on, but I want to go for the chi-square. Okay, I want to see on the chi-square test. Okay, And then I want to see on the maybe expected sale for the account. Okay, and then go for the each cell contribution to the cascade. Click OK, and then click OK. Okay, so now you get the tabulated or chi-square. So go to stat, go to tables, all the tables, something like tally chart. Also here in the Minitab, you can get from the stat table, and then you choose cross tabulation. So if let's say you have others variables, okay, you can put in this one. Okay. And then you click OK. Go for the cascade. What you want to see on the table. So you choose on this one. Click OK, and then you click OK. So you get this one. So the cascade also seems like hypothesis testing, where you need to compare with your p-value. Okay, for this case, it's a less than 0.05. So they accepted. So meaning to say that person and mistake have the association between person and the mistake. Okay, so as we know, the person, we have a 3 person. Okay, person A, person B, person C. And then for the mistake, we have a 4 type of the mistake. So you know, have a correlation or association, but which one is the highest one? Okay, so which one is the highest one? So based on this case, you can see on this one is the product. No, it's a product versus the person B. Okay, so the person B, product versus the person B. Okay, but I think maybe I go for this thing. See, this one is the, sorry, for this case, the person A and C at the highest contribute to the chi-square. Okay, and then person A are more product mistake and the fewer address mistake than expected. So maybe you can assess on every column here, every row here, based on this column person. Okay, the person C is the reserve. He or she made more address mistake and the fewer product mistaken than expected. So this one is how you're using the chi-square to decide what what association between your main response. Okay. So after you have a relationship between this one, maybe you look on the process itself. Is it the process is stable or not stable? Okay. So of course, this one is that we call control chart. Okay, in the control chart, actually easy to see, and the simple one, but it's a magnificent tools. So control chart we consider as control chart when your graphical something like have a UCL is upper control limit, and then you have a central limit, and then you have the lower control limit. So and then your data in order, meaning to say that if let's say every hours or date time, something that one in order. So this consider is the control chart. It's simple thing, but it's a magnificent tools, or this one is a one of the quality tools. Okay, so in Minitab we trigger out with the color code. Okay, it's a blue color inside the control limit. Okay, whether upper or lower control limit, as long as in control. Okay, so we consider that the process or this subgroup is in control, but Minitab trigger out for the special cost variation. Okay, the Minitab trigger out by the red color here. If let's say you see the red color, so you consider the whole process it's not control or not stable. Okay, something that one. So this one is easily to interpret the visual analysis of the process stability over the time. But your information, all this line, okay, all this line is calculated by the Minitab. No need to worry how to get this line or something that one. Okay, so it's here is from the Minitab itself. This one also something like from your data collection. Okay, from your process, your own process. Okay. So when to use control chart, want to demo the whether your process is stable or inconsistent over the time. Maybe you want to verify your process stable. Maybe you want to look on the effectiveness of process change. Okay, something like you want to see, okay, this month, you just run with the actual part, okay? Maybe another month, you have a something like improvement, okay, you do on your process. So maybe have something like different in terms the upper control limit. Okay, so you can look on this control chart. And then maybe you want to communicate the performance of your process during the specific period of the time. Okay, so this one is the basic control chart. Okay, so we have a variables control chart. We have the attribute control chart. So for today, we look on the attribute. Okay, something like is a defect or non-defect, something like accept or reject. And then we look on the a P and P chart, or C and U chart, or something like one. So after this, let's say you face with the creative attribute chart or categorical data set, so no worries, you also capable to do the control chart to see the process is stable or not stable. Okay, so for this case, we have something like control chart here. Example is from the major telecommunication company capture the numbers of outages on a daily basis, and also the record the number of outages they are not resolved within the 8 hours. Okay, then they want to know if the outages repair rate is stable over the time. Okay, so we go for this data set. Another data set. Okay, so our stages here. Okay, so you see on this one. Okay, so they have a variables for our stages to resolve, and then this one is a number of our stages for every day they take it. So it's something like different with the manufacturing, maybe something like you can see how many defect in this number, how many product you produce on that time. Something that one is something like not the focus on the number, is focus on the event. Okay, so you can go for the step where you get the control chart same, go for the step, go for the control chart, but now it's attribute control chart. Okay, it's attribute control chart. You look on the Pchart Diagnosis. So first we go for the Pchart Diagnosis. For this case, our main is our stages not resolved. Okay, and then our subgroup size is our stages. Okay, and click OK. Okay, so for this Pchart Diagnosis, diagnostic is not show the control chart, but this shows something like before you go for the control chart, something we call it the binomial probability plot, because this value is not the 1%. Okay, this one is something like 1 day. Okay, something what 1 day, how many? So this one is a Minitab trigger out using the Pchart may result is evaluate false alarm, or consider using the linear Pchart instead of the using the P only. So they give it you this information. So you need using the linear P prime, we call it P prime. Okay, how to pronounce it? It's a linear P prime. Okay, so go to start, go to quality chart again. Okay, so attribute, and then you choose linear P prime. Okay, for this case, same, our stages number. Then you click OK. So now you get the P prime. Okay, you get the linear P prime. So based on this control chart, no any sample, no red color. Okay, so we consider that the process is a stable one. Okay, so if let's say you look more on this part, maybe you can email me. I give you the information for this, how to use, how Minitab calculate on this sigma and so on. Okay, maybe this one is the new for you. Okay, so we go for another thing, the last part, the last tools inside here. Okay, it's a capability analysis. Okay, sometimes we do the quality initiative, we start with the capability analysis. Okay, we see that the customer say there is a lot of reject in the manufacturing. Okay, the services non-manufacturing maybe start with the satisfaction. Okay, complaint, something like one. But most of the manufacturing side, they trigger by the capability, or we call it 1.33 CPCPK. Okay, so capability analysis evaluate how well your process meets a set of requirements that is defined by the specification limit. So you see on this one is a LSL, USL. Okay, so this one is S, here is specification. Okay, here is specification. So you see, if let's say your process inside the spec, so we consider that this one is the capable. Okay, if let's say your process outside from your spec, so we consider that this one is not capable. Okay, be capable or not capable, we have measurement or indices. Maybe you look on the CP, or maybe you look on the CPCPK or PPPK, something that one is, we call it the indices. Okay, indices for to say that it's capable or not capable. Okay, so this one is I try, okay, to give the information something like differential between control limit and specification limit. Okay, since a lot of our customer might be confusing between a spec and then control limit. Okay, so control limit is a process is doing, process from your process. So if let's say you not collect the data from your process, you'll not be able to do the control check. So meaning to say that you not assess your process is stable or not stable. Okay, and then if let's say you look on this specification limit, what we want the process to do. Okay, your process is already done. Okay, already do it. Okay, running. So meaning to say that specification is from your customer. Okay, your control limit is from your process itself. Okay, so we try with this analysis. Okay, this one is one of the quality goals at the call center. Okay, call center is to ensure that caller do not wait longer than 60 seconds without a representative checking on them. So this one is we call a check back. Okay, so do not longer than 60 seconds. Okay, so we go for the data set. For this data set, okay, so we go for the check field. Okay, so they collect something like that, and then the how many sample size for every day. Okay, maybe more than this. Okay, and then they collect the how many fail for every day, for each every day here. Okay, maybe more than that. So this one is why we need the binomial. Okay, now it's the direct one. Okay, so we go for the stat. Okay, go for the quality tools. You see on the capability analysis. Okay, you can see on the binomial. Okay, why binomial? This is event something like failure versus the sample size. So at the call center, we cannot something have a limited customer to call. Something like maybe this one is average. Okay, from the historical data, they have an average, so 500. Okay, they customer call at the call center. So we cannot have something like the fixed number. So that's why we need using the binomial. Okay, so go for the stat, go for the quality tools, go to capability analysis, you choose binomial. Okay, for this one is a failure. This one is constant. Okay, so 500. Maybe you have a historical and then you click. Okay, so this one is a target. So for this case, just only 0. Okay, I put this the default one. Click OK. So if let's say you have a target, you can get this one. So the result, something like that one, is this one is the Pchart. Okay, your control chart. Okay, the same, you need to assess your control. Is it in control or off control, your process? Okay, this one is the binomial plot. Is it your sample get through in this line? So we consider that this data set is distributed by the binomial plot. Okay, so since this one is something like binomial, so you cannot get something like CP, CPK value. Okay, so but we have others indices we call is percentage defective. Okay, we have something like ppm, part per million, how many defect, okay, from 1 million. Okay, so this one is a ppm. You look on the ppm, and then we look another indices, something like Z. So if let's say CP or PPK, we look on the 1.33. So on this Z, maybe you look on, compare with the 2. Okay, if the lower, it's not so good. If higher, you can see it's a good one. Okay, so this one is the differences between the capability analysis, the normal capability with the numeric data set. This one is the binomial process. Okay, so we go back to the quality tools, capability analysis. You choose binomial. Okay, so you choose failure, and then you click OK. Okay, so you get this one. So I go back to this one, how to interpret for this case. So when the sample size are equal, Minitab display the binomial plot. Okay, if let's say you not the sample size is not equal, Minitab give another graph. Okay, and then histogram here, okay, to illustrate the overall distribution of the percentage defective. So for this case, is the differences defective percentage defective is between 10 to 20. Okay, so the ppm is this one is 1,497 out of 1 million expected to fail. Okay, so this rate value is this one is a very large. Okay, the analysis may want to determine what is the cause the highest high rate of the check back failure, and they try to correct it. Okay, so they say that this one is not capable. So maybe this case is based on your target. Okay, you want to compare with your target. Okay, so this one is how we evaluate or assess or analysis for the binomial capability. Okay, so if let's say you have a question, please type them into the question box. Okay, if not enough time, I will email to you after this. Okay, we have a good question. Okay, well, why we did not use the Pchart directly, instead need to use different Pchart. Okay, for this case, we have another term, we call it over dispersion and under dispersion. Okay, this one is might be affect your control limit. This one is your control limit. So that's why we need to check on the Pchart Diagnostics first before you get further which one is a linear P prime or normal a normal Pchart. Okay, so another term is we call it over dispersion and under dispersion. So my effect on this control limit. Okay. Maybe this case is a false alarm. Okay, so something like if let's say you go for the under dispersion, so maybe it's a lot of the under dispersion is a few point. Okay, few point outside the control. Okay, if let's say you have the traditional, if over dispersion, if you have a facet with the over dispersion, maybe is the increased number of the point outside the control limit. Okay, so this one is something like a unique look on more on this part. Okay, whether you're using the P normal or you can using the P prime. Okay. Okay, hopefully you are satisfied with my answer. Okay. Okay. So if you, okay, after this, I will, for the Brian, I will, I would learn PK, CPK. Okay, okay, we have that kind of the training. We also have something like workshop. Okay, you might join. After that, I will show how you can join our workshop. Okay, other question? Okay, so if let's say you want this material, you drop your email in the chat box or question Q&A box. I will email to you. Okay. This question is something like where we get the CPK is the based on the experience or have the standard one. CPK your process or CPK your standard. If let's say your CPK your standard, we look on the for us we normally we look on the AIG standard. Okay, if let's say you look on your process, you need to calculate from your process data set. Okay, you need to collect the data first. Okay. Okay. So if let's say you have a question, please type them into Q&A session. If I will email to you after this. Okay. So if let's say you see more and then you say and this data set is not from your industry right now, but we have a lot of case study in our website www.minitab.com. So in the case study, okay, the case study you able to see a lot of industry, something like automotive, something like energy resources. Maybe this one is a help you how to have idea how to analyze your data or analyze your problem. Maybe you have a same problem with them, so we don't know. So a lot of industry cover on this case study. Okay. And then other things, okay, so if let's say you are coming or you are professional or practice of healthcare practices, we wanted to invite you join our workshop. We call it improving healthcare services and patient care with the data analysis. Okay, next week on the 20 March. So if let's say you are coming from that healthcare practices, so if let's say you interest on that, maybe you can register. You scan barcode here to register. Okay, if let's say you have a friends, okay, really appreciate if you can accelerate this workshop to your friend also as long he or she are involved in the healthcare. Okay, and then a lot of, I think it's a Brian Isaf. So I welcome to Brian to our workshop. Okay, this one is a free workshop. Okay. This one is, we call it the age of analytic or discovery valuable insight in the data. Okay. Okay, so this one is something like a service, something like it's non-manufacturing. So if let's say you interest on this one, you can scan barcode here and then you can register. This one is a free. And then the time here is Singapore and Malaysia time. Okay. Okay, so I think if let's say doesn't have any question, okay, if let's say you have question, please email us to minitab@bz.com, okay, regarding how to use or where is this tool, something like one, okay, or maybe you want to see on the more on the study, okay, using the Minitab. So please contact us to minitab@bz.com, or you wanted to join our training, so please email to sales@bz.com, or you want to see on the more what the product from the Minitab itself, okay, not the only Minitab Statistical Software, maybe you can go for our website, whether www.visit.com or www.minitab.com. And then if let's say you want to see when our event, like workshop, webinar, or something that one, so you can follow us through media social, something like with the Facebook or link with the Minitab Malaysia and Singapore. Okay, so we also have something like support or something like training and then statistical consultation. Okay. So thank you. See you next time with different topic and stay safe.